welcome to Retro Faith. Thanks for joining me for the next episode. Before we get cracking with this next show, I have to throw out some massive shout outs to a few people that have really helped me out getting this channel off the ground. That lovely channel art and the little Retro Faith avatar is courtesy of the King of Custom, Ben Boyd. Absolutely love it. Thank you very much, Ben. It's really appreciated. Makes it look so much more professional, and I'd never have been able to do that myself. Secondly, you might have seen the cool intro a few seconds ago, and the little Retro Faith Dreamcast thingamajig. Massive shout out to Retro48K, aka Chris Diamond, who is a bit of a diamond. That is absolutely wonderful. I'm absolutely bowled over by it, and I love it because Dreamcast, yay. And last but no means least, Sega Zombie, aka Scott Brand from Retro Realm and Galaxy Sega, for the absolute amazing second parts of that intro. Absolutely loved it. I'm gonna have to learn how to do all that sort of stuff. So you three, thank you very much. It's a lovely community that we're all involved in, and it just goes to show there's some great people out there, and they've really helped me get this show up and running now, so absolutely amazing. Just a little bit of a shout out as well to the Retro Tech 100 guys on the Facebook group there. I know Kieran will be happy for me to shout that out, and thanks for the mug, by the way. Them guys have just been really helpful with some technical questions, just me asking silly things and just getting some general advice. So you guys are brilliant as well, and I'm sure I'll be back again real soon. So let's crack on with the show. What are we doing today? Well, after the first episode where I spoke about the controllers, someone messaged me saying, Faith, like, I know you're a massive Sonic fan, so your favourite game of all time must be a Sonic game. So like, which one is it? We were chatting, and I dropped a bombshell, actually, that my favourite game of all time isn't a Sonic game. I know. It's not even a Sega game. I know, shock horror. But it is an absolute awesome game. Don't get me wrong, obviously I love my Sega, I love my Sonic, but if I had a desert island, desert island disc sort of thing, the game we're going to discuss today is one I would have to bring, just because it absolutely means the world to me. But before we just dive into that, I would like to give a little bit of history about where the game came from. I do like to impart my knowledge. We have to go all the way back to 1983 to a time when lots of innovations and lots of amazing games are coming out, and there was a real retro hero of mine, John Van Canegum. He started a games development company called New World Computing, and they released their first game in 1986 called Might and Magic, which was a first-person RPG, sort of thing you can expect: wander around, solve some missions, save the princess type stuff, and you'd have like some other people with you, warriors, wizards, elves, and the rest of it, and you get magic, and the sort of thing you expect, a bit like Elder Scrolls. That's probably a little bit more famous, but Might and Magic, it spawned a string of hits. The original game itself is in the Hall of Fame, Video Game Hall of Fame in America, as is my good hero John. But that's a fantastic series of games, so check those out. I do recommend them if you're sort of like your fantasy role-playing type games, Elder Scrolls, Morrowind type stuff. Then if you want to go back a bit further, go back to Might and Magic. The great thing with Might and Magic, because it was so popular, it spawned loads of spin-off series. There's online games, there's all sorts of things going on, and add-ons and everything. And one of the games that kind of spawned from it was the first sort of the spiritual predecessor to my favourite game series, or my favourite game, which was King's Bounty. Now, King's Bounty, it's a bit of a ropey game by today's standards. The graphics are really crude. The sound is awful, particularly on the Mega Drive game. It's really not worth playing with the sound on. Really odd game to put on a Mega Drive, actually, especially at the time when it was all about action games and arcade hits and everything. But this game is a really good strategy game once you get past all the poor graphics and the really rudimentary sound effects. There's a really good strategy game. You build up your armies, you go around solving missions, and you're killing other people, and you're taking castles and all the rest of it. Decent game for the time, 1990. It's just a shame that it's let down a little bit by its presentation, but it was a solid game, and it obviously spawned something with New World Computing. They obviously realised while this may not have been a massive hit, they obviously realised there was something in the way this game played that if they expanded on it, they would probably have a hit on their hands. So we skip forward to 1995, And New World Computing was still continuing with the Might and Magic series and a few other games, but then they released this game, Heroes of Might and Magic. Absolutely amazing computer game. Again, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on the graphics. There's not much in the way of colour. The sprites are a little bit shaky in places, and it is a bit of a faff to play at times. But there's a solid game here. Again, if you're a big fan of strategy games, especially war strategy games and turn-based strategy games, this is actually one of the classics that you really should check out if you haven't already. It's got lovely box art as well. I mean, I love it. I just love the presentation of the whole package and everything. And it's a solid game. I didn't actually get to play this at the time because I didn't have a PC. I had, Mega Drive and Master System or whatever else at the time, and I never actually got to play this one. It wasn't until the next year, 1996, when one of my friends at the time had a PC and he bought a game, and that game was Heroes of Might and Magic 2. So the sequel to the first one. Now, he showed me this game, and I wasn't really into these kind of games at the time. I was just used to action games. I was just used to like Sonic and Street Fighter and all that sort of stuff. And racing games. I wasn't really used to playing games on a PC. When he showed me this game and he loaded it up, within 5 minutes, I was absolutely addicted. The pixel art in this game, while it might not be the most amazing you've ever seen, to me, it just really, really appealed to me. Some of you may know I'm a massive Tolkien fan, and before the films come out as well, like Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and everything, and I absolutely fell in love with this game because it was almost like I could play Lord of the Rings. Now, I know there's Lord of the Rings games out there for various systems and Hobbit games and stuff, but they never really lived up to what the books what the books had. But this game really allows you to build huge armies, and the creatures were really inspired, and the magic system that's in this game is absolutely amazing. You've got 6 different factions that you can choose from. You've got campaigns, you've got standalone missions, you've got everything that you'd need in a strategy game. And it's hard. If you put this on the hardest settings, I challenge anyone to finish a couple of the standalone missions on it. Even after all this time, I've been playing this since 1996, there's still 2 levels that I cannot complete on the hardest difficulty setting. Although the hardest difficulty setting is called impossible, you can do it. But it's an absolute cracker of a game. Now, not everyone's into strategy games. I totally appreciate that. So it's probably not for everyone. But if you like your turn-based strategy games, something you've got to really sort of think about, and you like huge armies, and you like your pixel art, this is the game for you. It's absolutely amazing and thoroughly recommended. It really sort of brings to life the imagination, and you can do some amazing things. You can try and complete the levels really quickly and get a high score, or you can really play the long game and build up huge armies and big bases and all the rest of it. Absolutely, just the gameplay is phenomenal. Just the way everything really clicks, it's so balanced as well. You don't ever feel like the computer's cheating, which can happen a lot in strategy games, especially in the 90s when some of them were really, really hard on the PC. There was actually an add-on as well released called The Price of Loyalty, which again, I love the art. Look at the art on this, absolutely amazing. This came out the next year in 1997. It added a few smaller campaigns, a few more standalone missions. It improved some of the balancing of the units and things along. That's the usual thing you'd expect from an add-on. But that's a little bit about my favourite game and why it's my favourite game. Why don't you tell me what your favourite game is in the comments, and tell me why as well. And if I like it, I'm going to play it, and I might feature it on the show. So thanks for watching. This has been Retro Faith, and keep it retro.